Today I'm going to teach you 12 tips so that you can become fluent in Japanese within 6 months.
And I'm gonna help with that.
Oh, hey Dan, how you doing?
I'm alright. Yo, when are the Olympics?
I think 11 months?
Meh, that's loads of time.
To
get fluent in Japanese, of course.
Alright.
Didn't we talk about that or something?
There's a very strong sense of deja vu over here. So all jokes aside, this is part 2 of the 12 must-know tips for learning Japanese within 6 months video. So Dan runs the channel Come to Japan, where he's trying to bring someone to Japan for free. So cool. Dan, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hey guys, my name is Dan. I run the channel Come to Japan, the channel that wants you to come to Japan. And again, my goal is for my channel to grow large enough to where the channel can support bringing someone to Japan for free. And we can do it together. All we need is likes, comments, and subscribes. It's easy. Really stoked to be here with Andy because this topic is something that we've had so much fun talking about. And it really means a lot to our lives. So we hope it will help someone out there because it really helped us and really resonated with us.
So Dan introduces lots of different topics about Japan in a really fun way, and he also shows what it's like to live in Japan for people like us who are able to live here. So after you finish watching this video, why don't you go over to his channel and give him a subscribe. There's a link right down in the description. By the way, if it's your first time here and you want to start speaking Japanese right away, why don't you get started by hitting the subscribe button? It's right over there. But let's recap what we went over in episode 1. If you didn't get to watch that, there's a link in the description so you can take a look at that after we're finished here. Number 1 was focus on Japanese that's relevant to you.
Number 2, use Japanese to communicate from day 1.
Number 3, try to understand the message, not all of the words.
Number 4, physical training in your face to build muscle memory in Japanese.
Number 5, try to keep a positive attitude and don't be afraid of ambiguity or making mistakes.
And number 6, think of Japanese as part of yourself, your personality, and your every single day.
We also covered 2 myths. Myth number 1 was, you need talent.
The other myth was you need to move to Japan as soon as you can to be immersed in Japanese, because it's the only way you're gonna learn it. That's not the case. Again, you can check out part 1 on my channel. But while we have you here, just stick around. These tips don't necessarily need to be in the same order.
Number 7, or number 1 for this video, but anyway. Number 7 is listen a lot. Listen for patterns, listen for things that stand out. Listen to everything. One of the first things I remember picking up when I came to Japan was mashita. I heard it everywhere. At work, my coworkers were constantly saying mashita this, mashita that, mashita the other thing. I needed to know what that meant because if they were using it so much, I figured I should be using it too, right? Well, I asked my coworker, what the heck does mashita mean? And she literally lost it. Because as you may know, mashita isn't a word. When you conjugate a verb into its formal past tense, you put mashita at the end. So my point is that listening to everything you can get your hands on won't only help you learn vocabulary. It'll also help you learn things like pronunciation and, in my case, grammar.
That's right. Listening is key. I was lucky enough to have Japanese friends around when I first started studying, so, I wouldn't really add to the conversation, but I would really listen to, when they were talking, when 2 Japanese people were talking together. They exposed me to a lot of new good Japanese music. I listened to a lot of Japanese music and I would really actively listen to words that I didn't know or words that I did know, and I was like, oh wait, I know that word. Watch Japanese comedy shows or TV shows. So I was listening to it constantly.
Number 8, start mixing. Only 10 adjectives, nouns, and verbs translates to like 1,000 things that you can say right away. This also goes back to using what you know right away. It really is amazing what you can do with so little. Another thing you should learn right away is a few connectors. Things like to, ka, kara, sore kara, and things like that. They're gonna really help you build sentences fast.
I would also say what I used to do is if I tried to explain something and it didn't work out, I'd try a different combination of words or how to say it or different body language or draw something. Basically mixing it up. It will get your message across. You will communicate. And most times people will be like, wakatta. これ言いたかったんですよね. Number 9. Focus on the core of Japanese or key phrases. In English, 3,000 words is gonna be about 90% of what you're gonna say in a normal everyday conversation. Now, the internet disagrees with Japanese. Somewhere between 2,000 to 6,000 is gonna get you talking. It goes back to some of the other steps. You don't have to know every single word in Japanese. You don't have to read a dictionary from cover to cover. Japanese people don't even know every single word out there. Do you know every word in English or Spanish or French or German or whatever your native language is? No, you don't. Focus on what you need. You might sound like a toddler. Me, apple, want. Boku, ringo, hoshi. But you get a message across and you're communicating, and that is really, really important. I mean, think about it. If you're just starting, you're a language baby in Japanese. You gotta learn to crawl before you start running the marathon in the Olympics. It's no different for language.
I always recommend that people should learn some easy to use phrases right at the start so that they can jump right in. That's why I'm working on a series about it. Learning these core phrases will help you start speaking right away. Did I mention that yet? Start speaking right now. Let us know in the comments what your favorite phrase in Japanese is.
Number 10, you have to use diverse methods to study Japanese. Language has many different forms. It helps you recognize different aspects of language. There are a lot of good books, a lot of good apps, YouTube videos, teachers, tutors, podcasts, websites, you name it. You need to be exposed to many different forms of the language. Now, can you use anime to learn Japanese? I say yes, but you can't exclusively use that to learn Japanese. You can pick up some basic sentence structures, but you have to keep in mind that anime is a little bit of a distorted view of Japanese. It's in its own world. It's its own thing. Think about it like this. What if someone was trying to learn English and all they used was Star Wars? They'd sound pretty weird, right?
Amazing they will sound. With this, I am fine. I tried to use anime to start learning Japanese when I first started out, despite not really being interested in it until this past winter. But my friends would make fun of me so much when I would say things like, "Omae wa genki?" But yeah, mix it up. If you don't, you're gonna be missing out on a lot of really great material out there. And you're gonna get really bored really fast. I changed up the way I studied on a regular basis, and I studied at least 3 or 4 different things every day just to keep myself interested. Because if you can beat boredom and burnout, you're gonna win. Number 11, get a language parent or a partner, someone who doesn't mind if you make mistakes and can potentially understand your not so perfect Japanese. Check out places like iTalkI and My Language Exchange, and places where people are interested in talking to Japanese learners. If you live in Japan, try finding friends who aren't really interested in speaking English, because that can really slow your progress down.
I've said it 400 times now, but I was lucky to have 3 or 4 Japanese friends in my school that I could connect with. We had a lot in common, mainly alcoholic beverages. You know, we would just drink together, talk, laugh, and whatnot, and they don't care if we're making mistakes. We're both kind of tipsy. Also, they were invested in getting to know me as who I was. And they didn't care if I made mistakes. To be honest, I feel like I forced myself onto them because I wanted to practice Japanese. So I'm like, hey, talk to me. We practiced all the time. If that's not available to you, again, there's this beautiful thing called the internet. I guarantee you can find someone on any of the big social media platforms and you can practice Japanese with them. I met Andy through the internet. Number 12, directly connect mental images you already have in your head to new words and sounds in Japanese. What I'm saying is you need to learn to think or visualize words in Japanese. Most everything that has to do with language has an image in your brain. Let me give you an example. When I say fire, you immediately have some sort of image of fire. Maybe it's a lighter, a candle, a kitchen stove, an Olympic torch. Brain freeze. Etc., etc. You have an image of fire in your head. Basically, this is mental training to associate new words with mental images you already have in your head that you started building way back when you were a baby. And for me, it's the reason why I'm wearing this t-shirt. I saw this t-shirt and I was like, wow, this is how I study Japanese. And it's just a squiggly line. What the heck are you talking about? This zigzag line is how I visualized Japanese when I was drilling or building vocabulary. I'd start here, right? And I'd say the word cat. I'd go up here, I'd visualize a cat. I'd go down here, I'd say neko. Then I'd go up here and I'd visualize neko. Visualize a cat. Go back down here, I'd say cat. Visualize a cat. Go back down here, say neko. Visualize a cat. Visualize neko. Go back down here, cat, visual, and you get the point. And you have to repeat this lots because that's how it gets stuck in your brain. And that's what you want, right? And once you do this enough for vocabulary and you start building it, you can do this for phrases. How the heck do you have an image of a phrase in your head? Well, if I said I'm super hungry, you have some sort of image in your head. Basically, you'll be able to start visualizing when those phrases are used in certain situations.
Also, I realized that I'm super hungry. Using imagery to help you learn words and phrases and even kanji is a great, fast, and effective way to learn new things. James Hasig is probably the best at explaining this in his book, Remembering the Kanji. We have a link to that down in the description. So that's 12 tips to learn Japanese as fast as possible. Even with the Tokyo Olympics just 11 months away, that's more than enough time for you to become fluent in Japanese.
Thanks for having me on ToKini, Andy. This project has been really fun to make. We're passionate about this, and we're probably gonna make more of these kind of videos, so definitely check us out.
Thanks, Dan, for joining me today. I had a blast on Come to Japan too, so guys, if you haven't seen that video yet, check it out, it's in the description. Also, if you haven't subscribed to Dan's channel yet, why don't you click this button right here? And if you haven't subscribed to ToKini Andy yet, why don't you press this button right here? Two birds, well, 2 clicks. 2 clicks.